Okay, buckaroos and buckarettes, we're looking at page 35 on your textbook, a standard metric or system international chart of measurements. And what I want you to do here is I want you to take a look at this and skip the fact that this says meters on this, and let's call it base unit. And what I mean by base unit is that it could be grams, meters, liters, whatever, any unit. And what we're looking at is that this fact right here, 1 times 10 to the 0 equals 1. 1 times 10 to the 1 equals 10. 1 times 10 to the 2 is 100, so on and so forth. 1 times 10 to the 3 is 1,000. 1 times 10 to the 6, 1 times 10 to the 9, so on and so forth. 1 times 10 to the negative 1 is a tenth, or 0.1, okay? 1 times 10 to the negative 2 is 0.01, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a little review on scientific notation, but this is what this means. Now, what this chart means is that when we take this prefix, this is all you got to focus on, and we rarely get up there, but let's just say giga. Let's say gigameters, okay? So if we talk about gigameters or giga base units, what we're saying is that that equals 1 times 10 to the 9 base units. A mega base unit equals 1 times 10 to the 6 base units. A centi base unit, centimeter, centiliter, equals 1 times 10 to the negative 2 base units, okay? Milliliter or millimeter or milli base unit equals 1 times 10 to the negative 3 base units, okay? So what you have here then are conversion factors, okay? You have equalities. Let's take something like this milli prefix, okay? So what we're saying there is then that 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters equals 1 millimeter. Okay? Now that is an equality. And what we're going to do is we're going to convert it to a conversion factor. If we use it like a fraction, 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters over 1 millimeter, that's a conversion factor, okay? Okay? Now how would we use that conversion factor? Well, look here. Let's suppose that we're trying to convert, let's go to our own millimeters. So we're going to take 47.5 millimeters and we want to convert it to meters, okay? Well, we look back on our chart, we look back on our table, and we see that 1 meter, okay, 1 meter is equal to 1 times 10 to the negative, 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters is equal to 1 times 10 to the negative 3 base units is 1 millibase unit, okay? So that gives us our conversion factor. We go back to the way we learned how to multiply fractions, and so we know that this unit right here is going to be in the denominator. This unit's going to be in the numerator. And what is the relationship there? Okay, it is 1 meter, which is equal to 1 times 10 to the 0, right? That equals 1, is equal to 1 times 10 to the 3 millimeters. Or you could say that 47.5 millimeters, we want to convert it to meters. Same problem, we're just going to use the conversion factor in a different version. We could say, we're going to have millimeters here and meters here. We could say that 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters equals 1 millimeter. All right? So let's do it both ways. Set 47.5 multiplied by 1 equals 47.5. And now we have millimeters multiplied by meters, right? Here, it's understood to be a 1 here, so we have 1 times 10 to the 3 millimeters, okay? Well, obviously, the millimeters cancel, okay? And so we have this 47.5 is equal to 47.5 equals 47.5 times 10 to the 0. So here what we have is 47.5 times 10 to the 0. We know that that's what that equals, right? We're going to divide by the 1 times 10 to the 3. So that's going to still leave us with our 47.5 times 10 to the 0 minus 3. When you divide exponents, you subtract them, okay? So the millimeters canceled. Meters is the only unit we have. So to put that in proper scientific notation, we have 4.75 times 10 to the 0 minus 3, which would be negative 3. And then we've made this smaller, so we've got to make this larger. So this will be negative 2. Okay? Here, same thing. We're going to have 47. This is 47.5 times 10 to the 0. 47.5 times 10 to the 0. And here, our millimeters cancel again. We're going to have 10. We multiply here by 10 to the 0 times 10 to the negative 0. That gives us negative 3. Okay? This negative 3, this is going to be 0 plus negative 3. Okay? That's where you get your negative 3. And so to put this in proper scientific notation, we have to convert it to 4.75 times 10 to the negative 2. And the units is meters. Okay? Now, let me go back to this chart. You need to try to make sense of this chart. We're going to use it forever and ever and ever. Well, I don't know about forever, but we're going to use it a lot, okay? And that multiplying fractions things that we do, that's one of the things that's one of the operations we use most of all, is that multiplication of fractions in this format, where the vertical line represents a multiplication sign. Okay, here the vertical line represents an equal sign. Here it's an equal sign. Okay, but we separate these to show the separation between the steps, and it makes a nice, easy way to follow step by step by step by step. Okay, alrighty. Thank you, and practice, practice, practice.